tempo. But I mean,
Right.
by the time they have 4 minions on board, you're generally in a really bad spot.
Yeah,
Unless it's a Doctor Boom.
I'd say if you MC tech in this mirror, you're already dead.
Unless Doctor Boom comes out, that's the only scenario where I
Yeah.
think.
And you get the boom indeed, because if you get a
Mhm.
bomb, well, that's game.
Yep. Ooh, Fake having the Innervate coin start. I mean, Reynad has Wild Growth for perfect Shredder
Hmm.
on turn 3. Fake is debating wasting the Innervate or using it, or using coin for Shade of Nax.
I think you'd rather go for it next turn. That way you coin on turn 2, then you can innervate Lothar on
Innervate,
3 and
yeah.
keep her on 4. You have a good curve instead of
Yep.
innervating now and then skipping 2 turns afterwards.
Oh, it definitely smooths out your curve. Keeping the Innervate will definitely help you get a much better curve for the mid game.
Mhm.
Alright. Oh, he could even get a Druid of the Claw if
Yeah, this
necessary.
is pretty good. If he wants to put pressure, he could innervate a druid in charge mode,
Not
which
against the
I
Pilot Shredder.
yeah I wouldn't think it's a good idea, but he has the option. That's the whole point of a druid.
Alright, Fake actually is running Ragnaros in his Druid deck. I mean, we know that Reynad is running Scenarios, which tends to synergize a bit more, I guess, with Fast Druid because of the ability to either buff things or give yourself a bit more line of defense against something like Mech Mage or even the Force of Nature Savage Roar. What do you think about, the inclusion of Rag in this type of Druid?
I I mean I'd say it's good. I like it in theory, but with the mech mages being pretty much all around, Ragnaros is very often a dead card because a lot of decks are um, are run in faster versions. So with more minions, and the smaller the minions, the weaker Rag is.
Yeah, I guess maybe the reasoning might be that he is running Doctor Boom, so Doctor
Mhm,
Boom eats the BGH, and then maybe Ragnaros comes in. But if
mhm.
there's residual Boom bots, then that becomes problematic because
Yeah,
Ragnaros's value goes down dramatically.
but then the boom bots are on your side. But if it
Hmm.
comes after your opponent's boom, then of course it's pretty bad. And I guess here you keeper the shredder and you trade with your 4/6 seems extremely strong.
Yeah, it even negates some of the value that Reynad's Black Knight was hoping to get
Hmm. Yeah, and
because
you know that Reynad plays the Black Knight, so you better damage this Druid of the Claw, otherwise the tempo is going to be way too huge next turn if Reynad does have the Black Knight.
yeah, I don't think Fake can actually afford not trading into that Spectral Knight. Black Knight would be too big of a tempo swing for him. Oh,
Well,
he's going to opt to kill the Shredder after the silence of it.
yeah, I
I
like this.
That's just as
There's
good,
no
I think.
reason to trade your Shade here, because next turn it can live if it trades, and the
Yeah, but
Shade
this
can kill the Black Knight next turn, so that's pretty strong.
it's pretty strong, but at
Okay.
the same time, Fake's follow-up is going to be a mandatory Lotheb at this point.
Yeah, so that
Mm-hmm.
denies Reynad's swipe. So if
Yep.
Fake trades the Shade into the Black Knight, plays Lothab,
Hero power, and I mean, he can only either play Sylvanas or an awkward hero power plus nothing at all. Um,
yeah. So which is very good for Fake's tempo, and also for card advantage to be able to trade twice with this Shade.
yeah, what I like about his turn 6 as well is that, between Wrath and Swipe, you can pretty much clean up anything that's left
Hmm.
over. Unless your opponent drops a Lotheb of his own as a follow-up
Yeah.
to your own, then you're going to be able to get, turn 6 clear, then Ancient of Lore for card draw, and probably replenish that board faster than Reynad can at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is an excellent hand for Fake. You have turn 5, turn 6, clear, and turn 7 lower, like you said. Rag on turn 8 if you don't draw anything better by then, and Rag is rarely a bad play on turn 8 if you control the board.
Yeah, and looking at this though, I feel like Sylvanas is not nearly as bad because you force a Lotheb trade. It's either Ancient of Lore or Sylvanas. I think Reynad's top deck with Ancient of Lore here opens up an option that really was locked. I mean, his turn was pretty
Wait,
pretty
what?
average here with the awkward hero power turn. Oh, he's gonna go for that awkward hero power turn.
Oh,
He's gonna force Lotheb to trade, which will deal damage to it, put it down to 1 health, which will then mean that he can swipe it off. I think that's a pretty good play as far as foresight goes. And
Do
you know what
you?
the interesting part is? Is last turn I was concerned that he killed Black Knight instead of the Spectral Knight, because
Mm-hmm.
Spectral Knight can't be targeted by spells.
Mm-hmm. But do you just you could Wrath the 4/2 for one and hero power it if you're greedy. If you don't want to take the damage, you could Wrath it for 3. You trade Loatheb, you Wild Growth so you can Rag next turn.
Yeah, that could work too, just to make sure that you can ramp into Rag immediately. The only thing is, if he'd killed the Black Knight instead of the Spectral Knight instead of the Black Knight right now, he'd be staring down at a very easily swipeable board. But
Yeah,
as it is, he
I
has to actually trade his swipe. I mean, his Loatheb, or attack the Loatheb into Spectral Knight.
yeah. So this is well, I don't know if it's a misplay because the Black Knight had 5 HP.
Yeah, but it's only
So
for 1 health, but your 2 of your minions have 5 attack. Ultimately, it would have averaged to the same amount
yeah.
of removal from your own perspective. So he doesn't use the Loatheb to trade. Gonna force Reyna to make the trade. With now that is greedier than I expected.
Yeah, same. Not convinced I like that because you're the slower deck.
But I mean,
'Cause you run
Reynad's
Rag.
play here, what is it? I mean, if you look, if he wants to trade, he can with hero power, which leaves him with just enough mana to drop Sylvanas preemptively. But otherwise, he's not going to be able to make the trade, and he's going to have to put more pressure to then force Fake to make the trade. And it's awkward because Fake is trying to force Reynad to make the trade, and Reynad is saying, you know what? I don't believe
Well,
you have the combo with Innervate. I'm just going to fetch for mine, and he finds it.
well, you know what? Now Fake's forced to go for a 50-50 because now
Yeah, it's a
Reynad did draw
Ragnaros.
into the combo and
Exactly.
took the 4 damage from this the Spectral Knight. This is not good for Fake.
Yeah, I think Fake's decision to not trade last turn. I mean, I think not killing the Spectral Knight was a slight mistake, but now not trading with the Spectral Knight last turn with his Loatheb was definitely too greedy, perhaps. He didn't have anything close to a lethal in hand.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
seemed like an attempt at a bluff, but it backfired very hard.
Yeah, that was my point. Seeing that you're the slower deck, so your opponent's gonna have. If you race, Reynad's gonna win.
Yeah.
So you better just go conservative, and you have more value in your deck than Reynad, and this is game.
Yeah, this
Unfortunately
is
for
game.
Fake.
Reynad getting another Force of Nature Savage Roar, a
So-
reverse sweep
Wow.
from Reynad onto Fake here. This is incredible. I mean, I thought, you know, there was a chance that he could do it, but this is a very convincing series of games
Yeah.
here by Reynad, despite the fact that he